Hello, everyone, and welcome to this HUBB Live Training Room with Rob Roy. Very excited to be back with you all. Hopefully you joined us for EWO Trader Live just a little while ago, but if not, it's great to see you and welcome. We will be introducing Rob here in just a few moments, but as always, for all of our live webinars or events, we do have to just cover that we are not licensed investment advisors in the United States, so nothing is to be taken as personal investment advice. That's all we need to really take away. Other than that, Rob Roy, you out there?
I am here, Zach. How you doing? A long time no see.
Yeah, took the words out of my mouth.
All right, everybody. Since this is a shortened show, let's just jump right into it. If you were with us last week, I gave you an awful lot of points to look at and made the recommendation not to try to follow along and set up all your charts at that point in time, because I was moving rather quickly, to go back, watch the recording, and then try to work from there. So a couple things that I wanted to reiterate here. Primarily, we're going to do some Q&A here. Basically, if you had a chance to watch the recording, you're setting things up. If you have any questions, I can help you with those. The idea of these is I come on Mondays basically to show you how I use the software, help you navigate around a bit. And then I believe Mike Wade is doing these on Wednesdays. He's showing you how he uses it. So you saw that last Thursday night during Insiders meeting. Jeff was showing you some different moving averages that he puts on the screen. So basically what we're trying to do is give you an idea of how all of us that are utilizing this software use it, and to help you come up with the ways that you want to use it. I know I'm a creature of habit. I think Zach and everyone would account for that. And I know that when you get a new piece of software, it's can be frustrating trying to figure out where everything is. I assure you that once you become real familiar with it and comfortable navigating it around, you're going to love the software. I do. I like it more and more every day that I use it. So just know that you're not alone in that boat. Last week I told you the story about when I got a new phone and was going to take it back, and the guy's like, "Do you not like the phone? You just don't know how to use it." So, and I even said, "Touche, your point." And I feel like that can be the same way here. I just wanted to show you when you're loading it up, when you come over here to the left-hand column. When you click on tools, it goes right to drawing tools, and it has a whole bunch of things here on the left-hand side. But when you switch over to studies, it has different ones over here on the left-hand side, but it's the same ones. So you don't have to close out. Like if you want to go to tools, you don't have to close that out and then come over here and go to tools. You can just switch back and forth from the top here. And then as a quick reminder, if there's an indicator that you like, you just click under favorite and it adds it under your favorites column over here on the left-hand side. And then you don't have to keep doing this. You just come over here when you find one that you like and just click on it and it shows up on the chart. And then the other thing that I noticed that it took me some time to figure out with help from Zach and some others is when you see this listing here and you're wondering, how do I scroll down? You use the ball on your mouse, and that's what will scroll it down for you and show you some more indicators other than just what comes on the screen at the beginning. I wanted to note that here under Elliott Wave options, that's the only place you're going to find the zigzag extension, because you can click on Fibonacci here and you can see the primary tools, the retracement tool, fib extension, which they call projection. Those are there. The reason that the zigzag is underneath Elliott Wave options is because I'm kind of the one that prompted the folks at HUBB to create this. I don't like personally having on the Elliott Wave all the A, B, C things drawn on there. I prefer to draw the fib extensions and the zigzag specifically myself. So they actually created this tool here for me. So that's why it's down here under Elliott Wave options. And then the rest of the Fibonacci tools will be under the fib label there. And, you know, you just click on them. Hopefully you've had a chance to do this. Some of you, I've done a lot of seminars. I know there's a lot of people that are familiar with other strategies like Gann and Gartley patterns, et cetera. And if there's any of those, you can set the chart up to where your favorite indicators are. So just a quick reminder, once you put an indicator on your screen at the top left here where it says plots, it will show it. Whichever one is activated, you can see that Elliott Wave is activated here because I clicked on it. So it gives a plot. And then you have that little common spindle there that you're used to in all technology, basically. And then that gives you the way that you can set these charts up, change the colors, however you want to do it, etc. Notice that I don't have any of those Elliott breakout triggers turned on. It's just extra lines on the chart for me, and I prefer to use more the confirming indicators and the zigzag tools, etc. You can change the point style on how it labels Elliott Wave, change the colors, all those different things are available, as well as changing the size of the indicators on your screen so that they're not small. And then you have the opportunity to change the lower and right column there to make them larger and make them easier to see. So I think that another thing is it gives you this little arrow over here. It tells you whether it's an up day or down day and where the market is. You can see that we are continuing the rally today. So far, at least, not really finding any resistance here at this level around 555, a little over 550. We are a bit overbought, I think, short term. A little surprised with all the data and news to come out this week. It will be a news-driven week, as you know from attending the Elliott Wave EWO Trader Live that we just did at 11 o'clock. So I don't want to spend time talking about the market. This is about the software. So with that, Zach, I'm going to see if there's any questions because I'd like to make sure I get to the questions. I didn't allow time for questions last week. I apologize for that. And notice when I clicked on the moving averages, it brought that up here under plots as well, which allows you to change your moving averages. So hopefully people are starting to get used to using it, playing around with it a little bit. But if there's specific questions, I'm happy to try to answer some to the best of my knowledge. And if not, I'll show you a few more cool things and we'll move on. I did want you to note that there's a difference between, remember if I said this last week or not, volume and volume underlay. Basically, if you just click on the regular volume chart, it puts it underneath like it would any indicator, or you can just do the VU, which puts the volume on the same screen that you may be used to with other platforms. So I'm not sure if I pointed that out last week or not. But with that, Zach, if anybody has any questions, I'll take them or just move on.
Yeah, no, that sounds great, Rob. And I think pointing those things out, even if you have covered them, is always good. And it's certainly for me, I'm a visual learner, and hearing things in repetition is how I learn best. So we have a few questions coming in the chat here about documentations around these functions. And just to give a general answer on that, we are going to continue to release numerous tutorials, videos. There'll be reference articles, PDFs, so on and so forth as we move on. I'm sure you will be informed very shortly here from the HUBB newsletter. Rob, you mentioned this a bit earlier in the beginning of the session about showing how to add favorites to your column. This one is from Leonard here. I've added lines and put them in my favorites, but I can't draw with them. So perhaps if you want to show the process of adding a line to draw with to your favorites and then using it.
Okay. Go under drawing tools. And so here's the arrow line. If you have clicked this and turned it yellow and put it under your favorites, and then you come over here and then you click on it, it doesn't light up like the other buttons do, but then you just go on your screen, pick your starting point, and then move your cursor, and it draws the line the way you want to. And then if you hover your cursor over the line, it gives you those little circles to where you can move it around and put it into different places. And then if you want to get rid of it, just right click on it, and remove drawing, and it will take it off. So like right here, we don't really need this one now. We know the market moved up. Great feature of the software is once you've done this, once you've drawn lines, etc., you can, the software will remember. Even if you close the software down, bring it back up, you bring up that chart, it will remember lines that you've drawn. Now on these straight lines, a couple of things that I want to show you. People kind of make fun of me that I tend not to draw real straight lines. Maybe it's a little bit off that way or a little bit off this way. And so I tend to do that. However, if you want to have a perfectly straight line, you can use this button here and click on it and then pick your spot, boom, and it draws a perfectly horizontal line all the way across your screen. And then you'll know that it's straight if you don't like moving it around. But once again, on the other ones, has those little circles, and you can move them around to get them exactly how you want them, exactly where you want them, etc. So not sure what issue you may be having on using them, but it should work out really well. The zigzag tool, so once you click on it, it doesn't do anything. It's just the cursor's activated. So I would come down here and say, all right, we started at wave 5 and we finished the wave 5 here. So I click there, then come down and click right here where the B wave extension was. And then it gives you that green area there, which is your target box. And then you click on, if you want the 100% extension, 61.8, whatever, and you just click there and it finishes it for you. So it doesn't show up immediately, even though your cursor is activated. In other words, just clicking the arrow, the cursor is moving around, but you don't see anything. You literally have to left click and start the arrow, and then left click again to finish the arrow. And then, like I said, if you want to get rid of it, right click on it and hit remove drawing, and that'll get rid of it for you. So I hope that was helpful.
Was helpful. And I do want to preface this by saying that any of these questions that we go through and Rob gives his answer on, if you feel it is not a accurate reflection on your end, there just seems to be an issue that Rob is not able to reproduce live right now, please feel encouraged to use the support window. I think Rob's window currently is blocking the red support widget that's actually available down at the platform, and you have the option there to screen record, so you can record the error that you're experiencing or take a screenshot and then annotate as well to show specifically where. Yeah, thanks, Ryan. I think you just moved it over a bit there, so you can see that red support tab. Please feel encouraged to use that. That's our best way to diagnose what exactly is going on specifically for your software or the error you may or may not be experiencing. We have a question here from Pravish. Why don't I have the high, low, open, close while I move the cursor? So perhaps if you want to show where that's located at, Rob.
On the bars, you mean?
Right. Yeah. Just I believe the high and the low, open, close, that should be available over there on the side and throughout the bars on the specific chart.
Okay. The first thing that I wanted to point out is that sometimes if the chart's condensed, the open and close look like they're gone away, but they're actually there. It's just by condensing the chart, the program doesn't feel like there's enough room to put them there. So if you expand the chart out, then you can see the little notches to the left and to the right, and that gives you the level where you opened and you closed. I don't think that's the question, but it was something that I noticed. And I had actually literally asked that question because I was always condensing the charts down to make sure that there was enough data to put the Elliott Wave patterns on. And then I would say, well, it doesn't show me where the high and the low or the open and the close is. And that's all you have to do is hit that button to widen it open and you'll see them. And then this button, because I used to go manually and move it around and you just click there, it brings it right back to where you were in the beginning. So that's the reset button. So it'll take your chart right back to where you started if you have expanded it or contracted it, and then you want to go back to where you were, just click that, and it saves you a few seconds. And in this day and age, time matters. So, what were you wanting me to show them, Zach?
Oh, no worries. I think that was a pretty good explanation there. I do want to say we got some questions coming in, both the chat and the Q&A for organization purposes, and to make sure I can be able to get your question through with the time remaining, please be sure to write your question in the Q&A window, as we just have a lot of commentary coming in the chat. So we have a question here from James. When will Elliott Wave 5 buy and sell be implemented with AI?
They're working on it. You can imagine the amount of things that they're working on. We do get a chance to have a brief chat at Elliott Wave Options with the programmers when time permits. At Hub, they make them available because obviously we've been playing with the software longer, and they're interested in our feedback as well. I can tell you it's on their list. And basically what they do is they get together. They've got a long list of things, of features. It's just going to get better and better and better of all the features that they want to add to it. They're working on the option stuff right now, which I showed you a little bit of last week. The charts are so clear. And just a quick thing here, you can expand the strikes out and show more strikes if you want to. All kinds of things to do. They're really heavily working on getting the options functionality done. And the opportunity to create positions with it. So you can pick a month and pick a straddle or strangle you get right here. So you can click on it for long over here, long puts, long calls. And then if you want to go short, it turns it red. So a short straddle would be right there. But if you want a long straddle, change the button and it gives you that. So I know the question isn't regarding options. I'm just showing you this is what their focus is on right now. It's getting the options functionality. It's almost done. And once that's done, I can tell you that getting those signals in the AI is at the top of the list. It may be next, I'm not sure, but they get together and they kind of all chat on what do we think is next? What's the next most important thing to do? And then they're going to work their way down the list. So all I can tell you is that there's lots of things that are coming. That's one of them. Getting those AI signals on the Wave 4 buys and sells and Wave 5 buys and sells. It's coming. They're working as fast as they can. They literally are. Those guys get no sleep. So I can't tell you exactly when it's coming, but it's coming. But that's the process.
Yes,
that's
well
what they
said,
do. They all get together and chat and decide what do we feel is the most important thing. And they're not doing it on their end. They're doing it on what they think you as the subscribers and users of the software would like to have. So if there is something like that you feel is important, send a note in and say, hey, this is what I'd like. And obviously your voice is going to matter. And perhaps if enough people say the same thing, they may rechange the order of their list on what comes next. So make your voice heard, I guess is what I'm trying to say, if that's something that's really important to you.
Yes, absolutely. I couldn't have said it better myself. And I was going to really emphasize your point there was that the programmers prioritize, the developers prioritize what the next update will be based off of the beta testers' feedback. And of course, now that we moved into our next stage, please feel encouraged to continue to write in any feature requests that you would like to see active next. And you must have read my mind there, Rob, because we were going to go over to the options to show that display as well, but very exciting stuff to see there. Nick, thank you for asking this question. Where can I get access to a recording of last week and this week? So, Rob, if you don't mind going over next to your profile picture up there into the messages, the very top. Yep. Right next to that icon is your messages icon.
Yep. Click on it.
Yes, sir. and the HUBB AI signals there on the lower left middle side. Sorry, so the group, the HUBB AI signals on the left side.
Okay.
On the left
right
toolbox.
here.
Yep.
There you go.
And that is where all of the videos, anything HUBB, is going to be posted. Mike Wade's videos, as Rob mentioned, will be in here as well, in addition to the ones with Rob and JP, and Rob is by himself. So please be sure to check there for all of the recordings that will be uploaded just after the live session is complete. The option tables will be available as soon as possible.
Mike, by the way. Sorry, I'm sorry to interrupt you, Zach. Just while I was here, I was scrolling down just to show him that there's the first recording from Mike is there as well. I invite you to watch his as well. I know Mike, known him for a long time, and he has some great insights as well. And so I think it is important for everyone to watch all of these, learn how we're all using it. Perhaps you have a plan in mind of what you want, but maybe you pick up a new idea from one of us of something to add to your platform and set up and make it that much better. I apologize for interrupting, Zach. I just wanted to get that out while I was showing it.
No worries at all. That is very important knowledge to have. And we got a question about EWO merch. Could really use a shirt and a hat. I hear you there, John. I will certainly get you the merch link in the chat here in just a second. And Leonard, if you please don't mind using that support widget, and you can actually just take a quick screen recording or screenshot so you can see and diagnose what the error might be for being able to draw those lines. David would like you to show how to scroll through the quote list.
Okay. Over here, and just move down, and it would be the same thing if it was full. So I assume that you've got a quote list that's all the way down here, and you can do the same thing. Another thing I wanted to show you is if you use the arrow up and down key on your keyboard, you can move the screen around that way instead of trying to move it around with the cursor. You can come over here and scrunch it down by using that column there where the pricing is, if you want to do that. But you can just use the up and down arrows to move your screen up and down if you want more room. And it keeps the spacing that you already have, where here you can see it's moving the spacing around. So there's two different ways that you can move the charts around on your screen. And if you use the right or left arrows, it'll move it both those ways. So in this day and age where everything's on the mouse, don't forget the keyboard as well. And just as a reminder, while you can see we switched over and went to the area of messages, etc. When we did that, notice that it took away the larger pricing that I'd done here. All these are little things that they'll be fixing. In the meantime, you just come back over here to settings, and you can change the level there of what you want from the font size, etc., and change these back to the way they were before. So you go to 18, it'll bring it up there. If you're like, no, I like 24 better, go back over and go back to 24, which is what I like. I like to make it a little bit bigger, and it's a little bit more bold as well. So
thanks, Ron.
Anyway,
John here would like to know.
Did you ask me something, Zach? Or
sorry, what was that?
I didn't know if you had asked me a question. I just got that in my mind to show him, and I didn't remember if I was supposed to be answering a question or not.
No worries at all. No, I was just going through the quote list, so I think you covered that there well.
So as you know, you add the symbols up here, and if you do get to the point where it's full, you can use your roller on your mouse and scroll it up or down. And if you haven't noticed, if there's a symbol that you have on here and you decide you don't want it, see how the X shows up here? Like if you want to remove USO, you can just click there and adjust your watch list there as well if you want to remove something from it, and it'll take it away. Just another note that when you add a symbol, like if we add Tesla on here, apps log on. If you add Tesla on here, it'll bring it up to the top, but it doesn't automatically go to it like it does when you're looking for it. So if you're adding a symbol, it puts it at the top, and then you click on it, it'll move over. Like right here, if you wanted to look at a chart of NVIDIA, you just type in NVIDIA, and it'll bring the chart to it. But when you're adding it to the watch list, if you haven't noticed that, you literally have to come over here and click on it after you add it. It doesn't default to bringing that chart up. So I'm just saying that because I made that mistake myself when I would add a chart, and if I was trying to add NVIDIA on here, I would do this and then look up here, and it's like, where is it? And I'm like, it's right there. And I would go and do it again, not realizing that it doesn't automatically default to it. Once you add it to the watch list, you literally have to click on it to bring the chart up. So maybe I'm the only one that was silly enough to make that mistake, but I just wanted to share that with you. And so then if you decide, no, I don't want NVIDIA on my watch list anymore, you click on that X that appears and it's gone. So these are just little tidbits that help you navigate quicker as you become more familiar.
That is a fact. Yeah, practice makes perfect, as they say. So we got a question from one John here. How do you get the fib retracement levels on the right-hand side like you do? And then I've got a different John for a follow-up question.
Fib retracement levels on the right-hand side.
I think perhaps maybe talking about the wave 4.
The labeling?
Yeah,
the labeling?
Referring to, yeah. Okay. So it might be a different tool there.
If you go to plots, and you can come here and click on it, edit settings. So click on it, edit settings, appearance, extend left, or you can change it, and now it takes that entire shading instead of just the line. If you don't like that, so I'm going to take that off because I actually do like that there. This is where you can put your fib levels on here, whichever ones you want to show on the fib retracement level. So if you're getting them on, if it's labeling it over here on the left-hand side, I'm not really sure how to change that, to be quite honest. If your fib,
I think you covered the question there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That was all good there. And so John here says, I assume the Elliott Wave counts in the HUBB software use 300 data points. Does Rob still favor 1597 data points? I assume the AI scores use a 300 data point standard.
Yes, they do. And yeah, they do. And I don't use 1500 anymore with extensive discussions with the programmers. They like 377. Their research has shown that 377 will accomplish the goals. And the reason that I had changed it in the legacy software, if you remember, is the relabeling that people always talk about with Elliott Wave. And I've gone on the record of saying the fact that Elliott Wave patterns relabel, I think, is one of the greatest things about Elliott Wave, is the fact that if the market changes, Elliott Wave is one of the quickest indicators to change and adapt with the market, where a lot of other indicators are lagging, similar how the ADX is lagging. A lot of other indicators are. Elliott Wave is very quick to relabel a pattern, so you can see if the pattern has changed from an Elliott Wave standpoint rather quickly. I had noticed that with 300 data points, that maybe here and there, and it wasn't very often, but here and there, there'd be a relabeling that occurred that I felt like shouldn't have taken that long. And so basically by putting in data points, you're telling the algorithm how many data points, whether it's a daily chart, an intraday chart, it's the number of bars. So if it's a 3-minute chart, a 3-minute bar is 1 bar. So it goes back 377 bars to look at it. And they tell me, and so I'm trusting them and have changed it, that 377 is plenty to eliminate the odd relabeling that may have occurred on 300 data points. So long-winded answer to your question is no, I don't use the 1592 anymore. I do use more than the 300 still. And those are specific discussions that I've had with these programmers that they know way more about Elliott Wave programming than I ever want to know. And so they've assured me of that. And if you switch over to the intraday chart here and go to 3 minutes, you can see here that what shows on the screen, the Elliott Wave pattern doesn't come on. And then you have this down here, insufficient data. It requires 377 data points because that's what I've set. So then what you do is you condense the chart down until you get enough data points to where it labels the pattern. So see, now all of a sudden the Elliott Wave has appeared. Now, if you want to spread the chart back out again, you can, and the Elliott Wave labeling stays there. And notice that line went away because we did give it 377 data points to analyze. The algorithm kicked in. And then, like I said, you can spread the chart back out and make it easier to see at that point if you'd like to. Note that this wave 4 correction, if you're watching the EWO Trader Live, only went to the 24%. We were looking at that earlier, and now we've extended with the market rally today. So, yeah, I'm sorry it took me so long to answer that, but I just wanted to give you the history and the reasoning and all that stuff for why I do it that way.
No worries, Rob. That was great insight there. I see we are 4 minutes after time, but we still have a ton of questions in the Q&A. So I'm happy to pass through as many as you'd like to take. I know we already went through EWO Trader Live earlier today and still have some time remaining in the markets. So you tell me, sir.
Let's do a couple more. Like I said, I didn't leave any time for questions last week. So if there's a couple more that I can answer, I'll be happy to take those and get back to the trading day.
So we got a good question from Penny here. Can you mention being able to add comments on the chart and they will stay? That's a great feature. And I agree with you, Penny. So that's an important note. And I was hoping that we'd be able to show this. If you go over to your icon there, Rob, and go into creator mode, under your profile drop down. You can also do that as well. But if you want to keep a format under your profile picture next to the messages, just like we went a few minutes ago. So this one's going to actually be your profile icon.
Okay. I'll show this and then I'll go show what you're talking about. But if when you see the comments that I make on there, just come over here to annotation and you click on it and it opens up the box. And you can say, wave 3 high. And it won't automatically stay there. You have to hit this little check mark. So you hit that check mark and then that labeling will stay on there and it'll show up every time you use it. If you want to get rid of it, right click on it and remove it. And then it's gone. And then you may have noticed that little X there. Let's say that you type something and you're putting it on, then all of a sudden you're like, I don't really want to say that. Then you can just click the X and it goes away. And you don't have to put it there. So, Zach, show me what you wanted to say.
Yeah, no worries. So if you don't mind just clicking on your icon that you're hovering over there, And then you see you have creator mode toggled on. If you toggle that off, you're going to realize that some of the default templates to your chart are not going to be there. And so it is important to note that when you have creator mode on, you can expect to always go back and find the same exact annotations, anything that you put on that chart that you saw previously. Whereas when it's not on creator mode, you're going to get more of the standard overall functionality. So we will now go to a question from David. The AI signals appeared to come in very late in the wave 3. Why don't they get triggered earlier in the wave 3? So maybe a bit of a algorithm question there for you.
Well, the way it's programmed is it starts to look at it as soon as the wave 3 is labeled. Now, if you're looking at that and say, well, that wave 3 has been underway for a while, well, the algorithm just labeled it. So it looks like the wave 3 has been on, but actually the signal is designed for the first day that it actually labels that. So if we were able to walk back, which by the way, is coming too, if you like that walk back feature that was on the legacy software, that will be included in this version as well. And if we were able to walk back a day, I think you'd see that Elliott Wave pattern disappeared. So it's just the appearance that the wave 3 has been underway, but I can tell you that the algorithm in the AI signals looks at it the first day the algorithm has labeled it a 3. I hope that makes sense. I hope that's understood. So it hasn't been that this wave 3 has been going for a long time. It just labeled it. And remember that every 5-wave pattern starts with a zigzag. Not every zigzag turns into a 5-wave pattern, but every 5-wave pattern starts with a zigzag. So, it's looking at this zigzag down, and then this movement back to the upside here. And then it decided that it liked that, and it labeled it as a wave 3. So I think that answers the question. I hope it does. It looks like that wave 3 has been underway, but literally it was just labeled a day ago.
Very well. Thanks, Rob. Yeah, no, definitely doing a great job on being able to provide practical application along with the overall just direct answer to these questions. As always, we have very well thought out questions that continue to roll into the Q&A and chat here that I am trying to aid your or help you with in answering. And we still have a continuation of them rolling in, and I know time is ticking on. We have a question here from Mike. How can I display the high and low price? We went through that one. Sorry about that. Yeah, please send that into support if it's a similar issue to the one Leonard was asking. A screen recording would be most preferable, or a screenshot, and that way we can see exactly what the error might be, as Rob is not able to reproduce it. Currently, Leonard says, what moving averages do you use?
Good question. I use the 10, 30, and 50. Yeah, and this is exactly what we talked about last Thursday night. Jeff uses some slightly different ones. So I have them colored this way. So I turned on the moving average button here in my favorites, and you can see it added it under plots. And so you just click on that gear, and there you can label them, and you can put on exponential, simple, a whole bunch of different types of moving averages. You can actually see there's one from Wells Wilder, who is the guy I mentioned earlier, that is the one that created both RSI and DMI. Same guy created both of them. And then you can put the period on here. I always like it to be based on the close. I think that's important. And so just make sure you tick the box. I have the simple 200 right here. It's not clicked on, but all I have to do is click that button and then click OK, and see the red line there is for the simple 200-day moving average. And as a quick reminder, I use that because that's what institutions use. I think you want to remember, institutions are long-term buy and hold. They're not active traders for tax purposes. So they like to buy and hold, and they know markets go up and down. They tend to use the 200-day moving average to aid in, do they want to exit a position? or do they want to enter a position? They're likely not to enter a position unless it's above the 200-day moving average. And if it breaks that 200-day moving average significantly, that factors into their decision. Do they want to exit a position that they may have in a particular security? So I like to see where that is, but I don't want, just a plethora of lines on my charts. I like to look at the patterns more. So I tend to keep as few lines on the charts as possible. I know you look at some of the charts that I bring up and say, you got a lot of lines on your charts, but I do like to try to keep them as clean as possible. So I keep that one turned off. But just come over here, hit the gear, put in the periods that you want, and then you can change the colors. I use the lime green for the 10-day, the fuchsia color for the 30-day, and then the blue line for 50 days. And then you can see I have red in there for the 200-day. Those are the only ones that I have labeled. All the other ones are just default black with one period as far as width. You can change the thickness by changing the width right there, and then pick your favorite colors on whatever you want your moving averages to look like. That's the only four that I use. I know Jeff uses a 21 period moving average instead of the 30. So, once again, however you're comfortable setting it up is the way to go. Do what you're comfortable with.
Alrighty, Rob. Well, we have another show, I think, with Mr. Beamer that's going to be coming up here shortly. So we're going to probably go ahead and wrap up this session here. That was a very insightful and informative session. So thank you for that. And there's many more of those to come. For any of those out there that didn't get our question addressed, I see we had some help in the chat. So thank you to those that answered any of the questions they were able to contribute to. If it's anything time sensitive, please feel encouraged to write it into support utilizing the methods I mentioned a bit earlier. Screenshot or screen recording is most preferable so we can visually see and diagnose the issue from there. However, Rob and Mike are going to be holding these webinars weekly. And so if you don't get your question answered in support, please feel free to write it or to ask it in here. And one way or another, it will get addressed. So back over to you, Rob. And hope everyone has a great rest of their trading day.
Yep. And we're going to be here on Mondays, and we're going to keep doing these as you keep going through and playing with it. And I do encourage you, go back and watch, because I covered a lot of stuff last week and wanted to try to have more time to answer questions this week, as I mentioned. So go back and watch both those recordings. Thanks for showing where those were, Zach. Start to play around with it more. And I just want to encourage anyone that may be dealing with any frustrations. As I said, the usability is fantastic. It's just a matter of getting comfortable with it, and that takes time. It took me time to do it as well. And I had my own frustrations being such a creature of habit and being so well versed on the legacy software. But I can tell you that after utilizing this software for a while, I like it more than the legacy software. It does more. There's more functionality coming. And it's just really, it's really up to date. That legacy software was kind of old programming, and this is all brand new. They literally built this from scratch. They didn't take the legacy software and then start there and create a bunch of patches and everything else. They started over from scratch, which is one of the reasons it took so long to get the software out. So it's all the latest technology. They even had issues, as I've mentioned, with data. Talking to the data providers whose software was antiquated and actually didn't talk to this software because of the fact that theirs was too old. It didn't talk to the newer stuff. And but the HUBB programmers literally had to work with the programmers at the data services to create a conduit to where their antiquated data software would talk to our newer software, talk to the HUBB newer software. That took some time too. So anyway, y'all are familiar with all the issues on the amount of time it took to get this out, but unforeseen things along those lines came about. And so just know that you got the newest and greatest programming hot off the press, basically. And it's just going to make it better and better and more functional. And as more features come in with the option stuff, we'll be talking more about that. And just real quick reminder that you select a strategy over here. I picked the triangle before, and I showed this last week too. It shows you the strategy over here, buy to open. You can move this around. You can move the strikes around, up or down. There's all sorts of really cool things. You can change the width, like if we did a strangle instead, to where it staggers the buy and sell. You can change the width of it there and move it around. So just really tons of cool features. And when this options functionality is fully, and that's what they're focused on right now, as soon as that's done, creating trades this way, you can go right here, create a trade, and there's going to be, conduits into brokers, et cetera, down the road. And then right here, if you're like, I don't like that trade, I'm starting over, just clear the trade, takes that one away, and you can start all over again. So I'm really excited about the options functionality part myself, in creating trades right there on the platform. Just an amazing feature. Some of you mentioned that when I showed it briefly last week, that you thought that was really cool, and it is. And so all those little things are things that that they're working on the options side of it, and it's just going to save so much time. When you're right here looking at the chart, you just click that button and you can create the trade right there, instead of going to your trading platform and having to create it there. You can have it here and ready to go. So just more cool things to come, and we'll be here to show you what comes out, what's new. And don't forget, make your voice heard. If there's something specific you want and others feel the same way, they'll move it up the